What's up? What's up? What's up? Hello, everybody. This is
Hello.
me. This is Stan from Kaliningrad or Königsberg, if you wish. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you?
Pretty much fine. Uh, I don't think there's gonna be much viewers this time because this channel is pretty much brand new. If someone comes and someone comes, you can guys always comment in the chat and ask what is going on actually here. Me and Stan are all friends. I know him since 1995, I believe.
Something like that, maybe even earlier.
Yeah, I wasn't a tranny back then, right? Because some
we
people
met.
think, yeah, I was a girl and now I'm Philip Druzhinin. Like I changed my gender or something.
Oh, I've never heard of it.
Never heard of it. So
Who says?
can you confirm, by the way, that I wasn't a girl before?
Well, not before 1995. No,
Yeah,
you're a real guy.
I know you live in. Yeah, hi Arjun. I know you're living in old German town, German city, the capital of Eastern Prussia, which is right now Kaliningrad.
Yep, that's right. I moved here about 20 years ago, so it's a pretty nice place here. A little different from other Russian cities because it was German before and uh, very interesting architecture. Uh, sort of mix because ancient or not ancient, but really long time ago, like 16th, 17th century, then Soviet architecture. Now it's some kind of mix and very interesting. You know,
Do you have a bunch of red brick constructions there?
yeah, we do. Yeah.
And a bunch of forts?
Oh, I think over 50 only in Kaliningrad, something like that. But most
Yeah,
of them are closed. So visitors and
still closed
tourists.
because of military, right?
No, they just left dying.
Abandoned.
No, abandoned totally. Nobody cares about it.
Okay, that would be nice to visit. I promised to visit Königsberg, Kaliningrad, whatever you call it, and probably will do it sooner or later. But that's not the topic of today's talk. Me and Stan wanted to talk about current situation, what's going on. Actually, maybe somebody haven't heard or recent information that was coming up since November. Um, we had a case with Facebook. Have you looked up to it with the Facebook case, Stan?
Yes, I have, and really, it's if you want my review of this article, for instance, I would say that two points I saw. I always read between the lines. So the first point is that human trafficking exists, and the second one is that nobody really cares about it.
Yeah, but they actually care about a bunch of other things, like fact checking machine that was imposed like a couple of years ago when Facebook became Factbook, and
Mhm.
you know all this stuff, crazy stuff started to happen. People get banned for just saying what they were saying before, and nothing was happening before, and then suddenly everything's changed. And for example, for instance, Trump's account was deleted, and all the information of people who were supporting them also, like 5,000 accounts, I believe. But they were never deleting those human trafficking accounts. That's what you say?
I think they choose what to delete and what not. It's it's a common thing, I guess. Mm, after we heard about Facebook information and how it can, uh, provide it to special agencies and everything. Uh, I think it's a global machine for, uh, collecting information about everyone, and it works, I guess, pretty fast. And in this article, I read that there are, very strange things that I read in this article. For instance, um, why CNN and BBC and other mass media companies ask questions to Facebook? Why not the prosecutors?
Yeah, yeah. Why, for instance, they just started? Because they were also backing what Facebook was doing. Facebook was backing all those non-profit and non-commercial organizations, which they hired for actual money for doing fact-checking campaigns for them. And this is like crazy. Those people are doing fact-checking on some things and closing their eyes on some other things, which are clearly mad, as you can see in the article. I mean, this is
Mm,
crazy. If you guys haven't read that article, just Google for Facebook human trafficking and find the first news that pop up in the search. You'll be damn sure surprised if you haven't heard about it. So these this information about all those slaves and like people not hire, they buy slaves in our time in
mm.
America. In America, guys.
Well, they mostly talk about Arabic countries in this article, and they call it domestic servitude.
They're
So they,
doing it. They're doing it, and they're buying it from America too. You know,
yeah, I know, but they put some accents that the articles on Facebook or this content about trafficking is mostly monitored in two languages, English and Arabic, and they
they
also.
chose another language. They be damn known.
Oh, what they mean that there are lots of customers from Dubai, for instance, that use that.
And this is the culture, by the way, Arabic culture, because they buy their brides, right? Like further brides as a kid. This is crazy. I've
Hmm.
I've recently posted a video from Afghanistan where CNN report about the girl who was bought as a bride from her parents by one Afghani, wealthy Afghani. So this is like for them, it's not a very big problem in Dubai, I believe. Why Facebook doesn't even care about it? What's your point, actually?
Why Facebook cares?
Yeah, what is the profit for Facebook? I don't understand actually.
Uh, I'm not sure. Well, I think it's pretty easy for Facebook to ban information like that. There's no problem, and they, according to the news, they deal with that problem from 19 from sorry from 2018 or something, where it came up, all the situation. And
Mm.
what also they point that Apple uh, Apple told Facebook that they will stop distributing their software on the in
On
the App
iPhones.
Store. Yeah,
Yeah.
in the App Store. So, as I see, the main subject is that it's all about profit anyway, because Facebook doesn't care about trafficking, although it cares about its profits. So, under Apple threat, like they call it, well, it's actually funny. Apple threat. Why wouldn't they call them banana threat or mango threat? you know.
Yeah.
So Apple thread for Facebook. mm, I don't know. What do you think
Yeah.
about this?
Well, my opinion is clearly seen agenda here. All this great reset,
Mm,
and all these networks which are moderately friendly. I would say moderately friendly for all those secret, gray and dark side of business. I would say human trafficking, um different, ammunition, explosives, and so on, so on, so on, so on. We can, be numerous and countless in that. All this pretty much friendly because it's all been used. All this technology has been used. Some people showed me Yandex like a year ago, which was supported by search of Yandex. They were posting those pedophile pictures,
mm,
like hundreds and hundreds of pictures in Yandex.
mm.
Just imagine that Yandex is, a haven for pedophile picture search. And I was like, wow, that was quite surprising because Yandex is the main search engine in Russian. I didn't never knew about it.
Okay, so
Uh,
you're saying that Facebook pushes the Great Reset agenda.
yeah, because all these technologies are supporting that. They supporting all this great business because they don't care about that actually, because it's all prohibited in the future. It's all prohibited in the future, but they want to do it right now, right here, right now, because this agenda is supporting all this stuff. They want this to happen right now. They want to destabilize, totally destabilize. They want three Ds, I would say. First is depopulation. First, second one is intensification, which is spreading us from each other. And
Mm,
third one is deindustrialization. So human trafficking supports at least two: depopulation and de-densification. So creating space, taking people from some certain families, throwing them around in the world and so on, becoming slaves. So there's no chain of that family. Chains breaking up, and all those kids are, their destiny is pretty much set in the future, I would say.
mm,
And so depopulation and dead identification supports all this both. If you watch it, turn the other angle, you would see some many more maybe features for those who actually use that technology to create all those networks of connections and networks of agents who distribute all those kids and slaves to their future customers. And of course, they're going to be using WhatsApp chats, they, which Facebook owns. Of course, they're going to be using Instagram. Of course, they're going to be using Facebook.
mm. Well, I thought that I would never think of finding a slave over Facebook. I don't know why.
Yeah, me neither. But somebody is doing it big time. Well, today we wanted to talk about some certain crazy stuff that was going on, and I'm gonna turn my screen share to show my Telegram channel, so we can check out all those videos and news that I've been posting since November 1st, I believe. And this is how we will create some chain of logic for what's going on, what's going to happen pretty much soon in short range events and maybe short term events, long term events. I don't know. Uh, Predict something, discuss our opinions. What do you think?
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, we're gonna have it for now. I'm gonna turn off the sound. Um, this is my Telegram channel, Empire Frost. Try to do it a little bit like this. So I'm posting here mainly all the main news that I think we should take a look at, and also I post some my own little articles. I would say little texts that I think about what's happening, what's going on, and so on. So, like my comments on that. So, this is definitely COVID measures on anti-vaccination activists in Germany. As you can see, people, person pretty old, and this is what's gonna happen. This is great reset tactics, threatening and beaten to hell of real people, old people who cannot uh, protect themselves, who cannot, respond to those, or even if they respond, they're gonna be beaten even more harder. So this is what's gonna happen. This is how it's gonna happen soon. Everywhere we're gonna be implementing those COVID passports and QR codes and so on, and these accessions of power are gonna happen everywhere. This is also recent video from China, where China is pulling up troops towards the shore, which is in front of Taiwan Island. As you can see, a bunch of troops being pulled, and this is not the only video actually from there. And I think Chinese are taking their chances to attack Taiwan pretty much soon, if they're gonna have a chance. And we're gonna talk about a little bit later. Also, the situation on Mexican border, with tons of migrants are just storming the police forces and breaking through, and nobody actually is, sending much footage from that place because there's so many people, and nobody wants to, for this news to pop out actually, and they just want to show us what's happening on Poland border, where around 3 or 4 thousand migrants right now sitting in a cold and in a night, and looking to find their way to Germany through Poland, but no one's gonna let them through like this. Migrants from Southern America, which is Russian towards America. So many people, as you can see. Uh, I've been talking about that in this video. It was posted like 2017, I believe. Also, been saying all this stuff about migration and all these tensions they're gonna be rising soon, and so on. Also, we had an information about Bill Gates and his Melinda Gates foundations that started developing antiviral drugs to prevent pandemics. So, Oxford headquartered Extensia announced in September 2021 there was signed four-year deal worth up to 70 million with Bill and Melinda Gates foundations. So this is a treatment for COVID-19, and they're gonna be, funding all this research. And looks like Pfizer already came up with new pills last week. A bunch of stock markets were skyrocketing after this news. And also Russia came up with two treatment medicines, and also going to be registering them. So everybody is trying to, like, calm situation down, saying like, look, we have pills. By the way, are you vaccinated, Stan?
No,
Are you planning to?
no.
Yeah. Very good answer, I would say, because nobody actually knows, and nobody actually tested those vaccines throughout as they supposed to do it, and nobody actually published those results. And for Russian instance, for example, I don't know about other ones, but in Russia it's very complicated, and we even had a battle on this issue with scientists on one of the channel, and it was banned, then it was restored by YouTube. Very interesting situation, by the way. So people right now in Russia are fighting. Like 70% of Russians are not planning to vaccinate, or are not vaccinated at all. Around 30-40% are pretending that they're vaccinated, but mostly all these people, also unclear. Have they just bought those QR codes from somebody in corrupt scheme? Like somebody published 500,000 Russian information on people who bought those QR codes, fake QR codes. So I believe there's a bunch of people who also didn't fall into that drop and that to that leak that was actually published, and this database is right now sold in darknet. So very interesting situation.
Mhm.
Here's what happening on Poland-Belarus border right now. So people are storming, trying to break all those fences, trying to distract Polish border patrol, and breaking through in small groups. One or two groups is distracting those, border patrol groups, and then other two or three just trying to rush through this borderline.
This is, by the way, not very far from the place where I live, just maybe
Yeah,
a couple hundred miles.
couple hundred miles, and tensions got even more intensified to the end of this week. In Friday, I believe even somebody was shot by Polish border patrol, but I believe he was just wounded, not killed. So we're gonna see some more footage from around there. Let's see what's next. Also, I forgot to mention Turkey is planning to attack Kurdish fighters in Syria, and I believe it's gonna be happening pretty much soon. So right now, a bunch of troops also being pulled there. So one point of conflict is set up in Poland, Belarus, where like both sides are pretending to get prepared for the future intrusion. Uh, Also, Kurds versus Turkey, Syria versus Idlib fighters, pro-Turkish fighters also. So a bunch of stuff there. They shooting, you know, with those anti-tank missiles, each other, killing each other. So I believe this is not very, you know, hard thing to say. Something's gonna happen there pretty much soon. Okay. Uh, this is Russian Sputnik vaccine inventor Yevgeny Ginsburg, and so he said that up to 80% of COVID-19 positive patients with vaccination certificates bought them on black market. So as I was saying, they're blaming those vaccinated who go to the hospitals after being vaccinated and go to ICUs, those intention care units, and they're like testing them and saying that they are not vaccinated. They bought their certificates somewhere on black market. I also know people who bought these certificates for like $200. Do you know anyone? Stan.
200 bucks.
Yeah, $200.
uh, well, right now it's around 100.
Oh, it's even cheaper.
Yeah.
Very good one. Putin also said that you should make vaccination mandatory in those QR code system because they're gonna buy certificates, and actually people buy them.
Well, not so many. Our country is like a really government-based corporation. So many big companies, they are obliged to vaccinate. So many people already are vaccinated.
Probably just buying those certificates, and that's it. Uh, I found this article in this. I don't know, is this important or not important magazine for UK, The Spectator, but it had a really nice, I would say, but really crazy text about why having a child is the greatest act of climate destruction. And what they actually say is that birth of a child gives an extra 52 tons of CO2 exhaust annually. And this is even more than a car, is what they say.
Uh, you know what
This is
they're
crazy.
telling? They're gonna tax it.
They're going to tax the air that we breathe, right?
Yeah, or
and the
how
exhaust,
much.
possible exhaust.
Yeah, yeah. Breathe in, breathe out. You get
Yeah.
taxed
How
both
much did you
sides.
breathe out, son? Oh, you
one
breathe
thousand
out
dollars.
54 tons, which is exceeding annual exhaust, certificate that you have, the QR code that you have. You
Yeah,
must pay extra $2,000 for your 2 extra tons of CO2,
or get terminated.
or get your QR code terminated and sit at home, man. Yeah. Oh, this is a drone footage attack on Donbass, another point of conflict in Donbass, Ukraine, where intensified actions of Ukrainian army with their drones uh, were quite bothering all November. They posted a bunch of footage of, Donbass militia fighters destroyed uh, ammunition, vehicles, and guns. So something is probably on the line there too. And the Russians, brought a bunch of military, to the region, not close to the border, but 2 hours away. So I would say something might go there too. If every of those points of interest gonna be blowing and tried, you know, anywhere, it could happen randomly. Actually, Taiwan, Turkey, Syria, Kurdish, Ukraine, Donbass, or Belarus, or Poland. It can happen everywhere, anywhere right now. So I predict something's gonna happen, and we're gonna see where pretty much soon. And also found this June 21, 1989 uh, screenshot from a newspaper, and they were saying that entire nations could be wiped off the face of the earth by the rising sea levels if the global warming trend is not reversed by the year 2000. That was written in 1989. I was 10 years old back then. And they were threatening us with global warming, wiping off the face of the earth of all these rising sea levels, all those, cities in like New York, I don't know, just crazy stories. And we're like 2021 right now. Nothing ever happened, right?
But they still push the agenda. When I was in Florida, uh, the when you get how do you call it, insurance for your house, it's much more expensive on the beachfront villas and other properties than the second line or the third line.
Mm. Ironically, Britain is sending troops to back up Poland. Yeah, Britain, the role of Britain in all this, we're gonna, summarize a little bit later. I'm gonna talk about that because I have some to say about that. And actually, Britain is not that small in influence right now as they pretend to. They are not that small in influence. They're very influential, very influential. I'd say they are fourth economy in the world right now. Fourth economy in the world. So they have a bunch of influence. Have you been to London, Stas?
No, have you?
Yeah, I wish. No, I haven't. London is still very influential, and maybe we should make a video on London and talk about it soon. Okay, tax carbon based life. Yeah, exactly. Is what they were planning. Remember these ozone layer problems that we had back then in the 80s, like ozone layer problems. Those holes are growing. Boogeyman's from the holes watching us from above.
And the sun is gonna burn us all.
The sun's gonna burn us all, vaporize us. Like, I don't know. Nothing happened. And recently, we've had an information of a new ozone layer hole above Antarctica. So nothing helped actually. They switched the gases and all those production. Somebody earned a bunch of money in this process actually. All those aerosol gases were switched to some other gas, more ozone friendly, and it didn't help actually. So ozone holes and ozone layer is still being destroyed. Nothing is really working, but nothing is getting burned either. So I don't know actually what are we gonna be waiting for some new flooding?
I think they're trying to scare everyone. Like there is a threat on the left, threat on the right, and the history repeats itself. So, uh, you know, just to keep everyone afraid of everything.
Yeah, keep us scared. I was calling it cortisol therapy. It's a hormone which you get actually when you are being in stress of post-traumatic syndrome. This hormone is totally harmful, and the only way you can fight with it is go outside, go on sun, go on fresh air, and so on. And what they're doing to us is keeping us de-densified, keeping us at home, locking all this stuff down. If you are healthy, they lose money, is what this poster says. This is actually another Texas footage for these migrants, and they were captured by Texas Border Patrol. As you can see, people being transported in these huge cisterns, and here they again captured. Um, Another footage by Taiwan and China is getting prepared for Taiwan intrusion. They have a bunch of military forces practicing instantly, getting prepared for these long range ballistic attacks and so on. So, by the way, NATO generals and I think US military spokesman also said that China has a better fleet right now, better conditions, and they prevail and probably will have enough influence to draw Americans off Taiwan. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen. Another situation with Mark Zuckerberg, two people who used to work for the household of Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg and his wife Priscilla Chan have filed a pair of lawsuits against the billionaire couple and their numerous family related corporate entities. The cases claim that the family companies are responsible for sexual harassment and discrimination by company employees. Both suits name Chan and Zuckerberg as defendants, alleging failure to pay wages, among other claims. So, another conflict. And as you know, there was a Facebook leak or whistleblower from Facebook who that woman she was saying about Facebook igniting those conflicts and earning money on publishing hate information also. And look, exactly after these conflicts, Mark Zuckerberg comes up with a new brand name Meta just to press all this negative information from the brand and transfer this brand into Meta brand. And a bunch of conspirology reports already seen that Meta look like something Masonic. What do you think about that?
Uh, Actually, I have no idea what Meta is. If you tell
That's a
me,
new brand. It's a new brand for Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg, who recently
oh,
lost around 7 billions amid scandals inside Facebook, decided to release a new brand name, Meta. It's
mm,
gonna include Instagram. It's gonna include um, Facebook, WhatsApp,
Okay. So it's like a new corporation
A new name.
for
Corporation is
this
still the
for
same. New
oh,
new name, yeah. New
okay.
brand, new brand. And also there was information about Rob Skiba. He was a truther, and he released that video uh, where he was prophesying about these pandemics and lockdown scenarios back in 2020, 2012. So like 8 years ago. Very interesting prophecies. He totally passed through this information. Also, as I've been saying, Turkish army gathers around Kurdish fighters preparing for attack. A bunch of footage where all these machines and vehicles being delivered. So something is definitely happening there. And who is standing behind Turkey? Who is letting them to be this active? I believe this British is helping Turkish
Okay.
because Americans and NATO have conflicts with Turkey right now. They actually uh, not in very good relations, I would say. And so there's always somebody behind this. So we have to understand that at certain key moment, Turkish Minister of Internal Affairs and Erdogan himself were discussing all this stuff prior to the situation with British officials, including MI6 officials. So Turkey was always under British influence, always under British influence, and they were, you know, allies big time since the end of World War II. New power index also scored, so you can see not very big difference between U.S. military and Russian military in rating. Probably bunch of new Russian so-called supersonic missiles were included in this power index,
Yeah, it
and
looks like a sorry.
only three countries right now possess this supersonic technology of missile rockets. It's USA, which are right now testing unsuccessfully. They admit it. They publish all the results, but still they can say they obtained this technology. Russia is already implementing these supersonic missiles everywhere, on fleet, on airplanes, and on submarines, for example. China also has some missile technology, which was sold, I believe, like 10 years ago by Russians to them. So only three countries, which right now have the technology to override the missile defense systems.
Mm.
Yeah, it's very intense one. New Time magazine, mm, last call, as you can see. So the storm is coming. Is what I'm saying. Something's gonna happen. Definitely, something's gonna happen. All these people, empty seats here, as you can see. Somebody didn't come. Uh, Xi Xi Jinping, Chinese president, didn't come. Putin didn't come. Some other folks didn't come. Erdogan turned his plane over Europe. He was flying from G20 in Italy, in Rome, to this conference, and then he found out something that distracted him, and he just turned his plane and saying like, "Fuck this conference, I'm not going there." And a bunch of people came to this conference. Biden was sleepy there, and so on. Meanwhile, China is testing the supersonic missiles, as I was saying, also. You know, this technology from underwater launch. is far more interesting than situation that's gonna happen. So not very distant island of Taiwan, and a bunch of things can happen here pretty much soon. This is Biden cortege on this climate change conference. Each of these vehicles have a very big engine. What do you think? Is it embarrassing for him to have such cortege? They counted up to 100 cars there.
Why would
How
he need
much?
so
How
many
much
cars?
exhaust did they make? Probably all these rides give an exhaust of comparable to my yearly annual exhaust because those vehicles they eat a bunch of gas, I believe.
Why would he need so many cars?
I don't know. I don't
He's
know.
like,
What is he afraid of?
mm,
This is just a tale of this cortege. They counted up to 100 cars there. And this is the footage, the train of moderate fighters in Syria, which are opposing the official regime. They've been practicing with the U.S. Marines, so also ready to go each and any second. If something's gonna happen in the north, they're gonna be probably attacking. By the way, do you know that U.S. is harvesting Syrian oil since 2014?
mm,
They captured all the area and just pumping up oil there.
like always.
You can't be surprised today, can you?
No,
Yeah, so
not really.
they even blurring their faces. They probably ashamed of what they're doing because they've been practicing with the ISIS fighters. They've been practicing with Al Qaeda fighters, and now they're practicing with pro-Syrian moderate fighters. Damn, it's like never-ending story, I would say. Also, probably one of the biggest scandals last week is uh, the flagship of Mediterranean fleet of U.S. Navy came to Black Sea. This huge ship. So they're trying to threaten us in Russia on this situation where they can attack in Donbass via Ukrainian army with the hands and provide this support from these ships because they can they have a ship with like 110 Tomahawk missiles there, which
Mm.
are probably the best mid-range missiles in the world right now. They have been attacking Syria, they have been attacking Iraq with Tomahawks, and like 80% of them succeeded to pass the anti-missile defense. So pretty much scary days, including my apartment on the Black Sea is right now on a big high risk.
Don't worry, it's not gonna happen.
Also, in interesting information by Wall Street Journal about former Afghan security forces, which were serving the official Afghani forces during the Americans' uh, regime there, and so they trained under the guidance of instructors from NATO and the United States in particular, and actively joining the ranks of ISIS terrorist group right now. So, as what I've been saying, they're practicing, and they go into Al Qaeda or ISIS or whatever. Just wasteless use of money.
Well, I don't know if it's useless.
Yeah, useless for us, for the
Oh,
American
oh,
taxpayers. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
a Russian head of Russian Constitutional Court, the top court of Russia, and he was against mandatory vaccination and was seriously criticized by the officials. Have you heard about that?
Not really, but uh, I think vaccination will be mandatory anyway. Or like if they won't let you in the public places, if you cannot use taxi or public transportation, and on top of that, I think they will check for QR codes in the grocery stores.
Yeah.
So it can be not mandatory, but you know what I'm saying. You just have to do it anyway if you want to eat.
Or you have to order a delivery.
Uh, I think that at some point you cannot order because you don't have a QR code. It depends on the switches.
There's a deficit on those delivery personnel in Moscow, and they earn a bunch of money right now because they're like uh, very, very in demand, I would say. Another point of interest right now is South and North Korea situation. Also, it's been ignited for several years, then it was calming down. Right now, it's also becoming very interesting because something might happen there too. Um, Ethiopia is Africa. Um, they had rebels there in Ethiopia, and those rebels been beaten hard by the official army. They were pressed to their provinces. All those national groups were totally segregated in the official field, and everybody was kicked out from all those high rank positions everywhere. This nation was suppressed, and right now they are fighting back. And these are the war prisoners that they captured already from the official army, and those fighters from Tigra, they call them Tigra militia region, they're pressing towards the capital. Pretty much soon we're gonna see the reverse, and we're gonna see the change of the regime in the Ethiopia. Ethiopia is a very important place, I would say, because it's the control of logistics of Red Sea and Suez Canal. Have you heard about Evergreen tanker, which totally interrupted all this logistics
Yeah,
for a week or so? Have you heard about
yeah,
it?
yeah. I have.
The circumstances of that situation are bothering the economics even now.
Mm. And I
And
think it was done on purpose.
of course, Chinese job, and it was a Chinese ship which was owned by pro-Chinese Taiwanian company.
Mm.
So, and
I saw.
Ethiopia is on the way, so close to Red Sea, and has some control. Sudan also, uh, right now, there's military conflict there in Sudan. Uh, let's see, I'm gonna turn it off. So there's a military conflict in Sudan. There's a military conflict in Ethiopia, and this is not very strange for me because all these places are the control of Red Sea. And Red Sea is very important because it's on the way to Suez Canal. And all this, this is just eternal life of tankers there. Eternal. You can interrupt it, and all economy is going to be slammed and stalled big time.
I get it.
Two or
Uh,
three Russian regions, Kamchatka and Magadan regions are right now, Chukotka also, are suffering from low level supplies from the mainland because they don't receive tankers there because all the tankers are stalled everywhere. A bunch of tankers are stalled on the west coast of US. There's a huge line of tankers, and they
I
cannot
think
process them at all. It's impossible right now. Some people even think they're gonna have shortages in presents for Christmas.
no Christmas presents.
Yeah,
You
no
know,
Christmas presents.
I think this is all part of distraction, actually, because they need to show people why they suffer. They need to show why life is not as good as before, and that's why all this military complex uh, they show on TV and everywhere that the war is prepared, that the weapons, new weapons, and everything, because they need to show why things are bad right now. Like in the wartime, people suffer and they starve. So we all need to stay home and hope for the best. So they show all these pictures: Suez Canal, Donbass, Belarus, Syria, Mexico, everywhere. But I think it's organized chaos.
Organized, definitely organized. And let's follow to the next line of this is another footage from Poland, as you can see. Just a very big groups of people, Russian. You know how those people get there actually is they're just regular buyers of tickets on airplanes. These are citizens of Iraq, Syria, Afghanistan, which bought their tickets from Kabul to Minsk, Belarus, or maybe from Istanbul or Ankara, I don't know, somewhere from Turkey, because Turkish Airlines deliver all those people there, thousands and thousands of people since summer. Some of them went through Lithuania, some of them went through Poland, and some of them already in Germany. It's a big problem. But on the other side, nobody's mentioning the same problem which is right now on Lampedusa in Italy, the same problem which is right now on the islands in Greece. A whole bunch of people coming from Turkey to Greece, a whole bunch of people coming from Libya to Italy. A whole bunch of people are dying while trying to reach the British Isles from France, which is like not discussed at all. How much people actually freeze to death yearly, and why are these specific migrants are not welcome in Europe when the rest of them are welcome? This is double standards situation. What do you think about this? All this migration crisis which is going on right now in Europe?
I think that's a special operation.
Definitely
Because,
is.
yeah, and you make conditions in one country not good for living, so you stimulate people from sitting in one place and going to another place. And they have a certain point why they want migrants to get to Europe. I think you know more about that. Why do they want so many migrants in Europe right now?
Because they want to de-densify the current population. As I've been saying, 3Ds: depopulation, de-densification, and deindustrialization. Are these migrants are planning to work on any factories? No. So
No.
they favor this goal on deindustrialization. They're gonna just receive the welfare and and that's it. Maybe some of them gonna work, but Are they going to work in factories or maybe production? No, they're not planning to do that. Most of them are just planning to receive welfare. Secondly, de-densification, how these people help to de-densify. They're being plugged in or injected in several communities in a certain dose, I would say, like a medicine, because they just don't put them in one certain place. They spread them in each country. They divide them in short groups and spread them in France, Germany, Austria, Belgium, Netherlands. Everybody gets some. Some of them go into Great Britain, some of them go into Norway, some of them go into Sweden. These particular Belarusian ones, they're going to Germany. They're saying they're going to Germany. But is Germany gonna accommodate all of them? I'm not sure. They're gonna spread those people around. And so what they actually do is they de-densifying them, all these groups, and they de-densifying the local population, because once they've been injected in a certain community, they're, replacing, sooner or later, they're gonna be replacing this local community because of the birth rate. Birth rate is ridiculously uncomparable. You know, all these countries, Taiwan, South Korea, Japan, Germany, France, have serious demographic problems. Serious demographic. Like we've been told, like Russian is like very bad situation, but Russia is far more better situation, believe me. And who is
Mhm.
in favor of that? Who is actually profiting from all these countries actually suddenly dying very soon? Japan, South Korea, Taiwan. If China is not gonna take Taiwan, then they're gonna die, because nobody, the birth rate of Taiwan is ridiculous. And in South Korea too, a bunch of North Korean, which are like right now less populated than South Korea, are planning. They're like, they're active. They're active in North Korea, and South Koreans are passive. They can't protect their land soon. So are
O-
Japan.
Okay, but if the one of the main agendas is to depopulate the world, why won't leave the Europe alone and depopulate it naturally?
Because they want to, I would say they want to drag all these people to Europe, do all this stuff in Europe. They want to de-densify, depopulate, and deindustrialize, so the Europe will become more, more concurrent on this field of economy with such countries like US and China and India and Great Britain. This Commonwealth, Britain, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and the rest is just being put away because nobody wants to invest in Europe anymore, is what they say. They want to invest in China, they want to invest in India, they want to invest in Australia, they want to invest in Canada, they want to invest in America, but not in Europe anymore. I don't know why. They think Europe is dying. And this is very sad, because if Europe can connect with Russia and b- become a union with Russian, then everybody else will lose in this game. So they are not letting Europe to being hugged by Russia, or Russia being hugged by Europe, creating this border crisis. Ukraine, Belarus, Poland, Lithuania, cutting Russia from Europe. All this situation with Nord Stream 2 also on the line, which was supposed to be just an easy contract for Russia to sell gas to Germany. No, it became a political issue. And right now it's just a sanction issue. So I don't know what's going to happen next.
Hmm.
They're breaking this possible union to erase the further competitors. America is dying also. They know the economy is getting lower and lower and lower each time. It's just a financial bubble, potentially crisis in the future. That's why they want to do a great reset with America. But that great reset is going to be on Europe too, and the EU is done also. That's why British knew it all the way before it started. Way before it started. And that's why they made all this fake Brexit, okay? Just to set up all this on fire. And right now, Poland, Hungary having problems with EU, all this situation on Ukraine and Belarus, migrants coming from everywhere. This is very big hit for Germany.
But the Great Reset is about end of capitalism.
That's why look at this. Look at this. I put Marx here. He is
Yeah.
on. These are the great reset demiurges. These are the further actors of this great reset because Marx is ideology. Greta Thunberg is climate change. Klaus Schwab is whole tactics, which he presented in the Great Reset. Biden, Trudeau, and all these other puppets, and Bill Gates are just the managers, and they listen what to do. You know, Soros and others are paying. Rockefellers, Rothschilds, everybody's paying for this thing to slide into this Great Reset. They don't want all this expensive population of Europe. They don't want expensive population of America too. But they choose to destroy Europe because America is kicking up too much and have some aircraft, you know, those carriers and troops in Europe. So probably it's gonna be Europe more likely than America first.
I don't know. I think the whole Western world will suffer.
The whole Western
Uh,
world, of course, but they're just saying we're distant from this right now. This is what Biden and Trump were doing for I was saying Trump was different from Biden. No way, they're just the same. All they doing is isolationism, trying to be America great against stuff, but actually they ain't doing anything. They're just waiting for Europe to die under the migrants, under these problems in economy and in supplies and sanctions and everything else. Who knows how many years they're gonna hang on? You're closer to Europe than me, actually. You're gonna feel that pretty much soon, I believe.
I'm going to go there maybe in February. Mm, we'll see what is dying, what's not.
Yeah, military age man invasion, replacement population, reset. That's a chain of logic, actually. I didn't make this up. People thinking the same, is what you can see. And it's
Yeah.
not just social engineering, it's social lift. Those people from there, they won't lift to this comfort zone that the Europeans are right now located at. They ain't going to America. America's too far. Europe is close. You can pay $4,000 to go to the Polish border and have a chance, pretty big chance to escape all those patrols and actually come to the territory where some people will bring you to the Germany, and there is heaven for all these migrants. Germany is very rich country and paying big money.
Germans are sick of this situation already because it's out of their tax money partially. But
Some say it's
the
even less. It's even more profitable not to work in Germany right now. Some say on some certain level of paying jobs, it's even no necessary to work at all.
I know many people do it illegally, so they get the welfare and they still work for cash
Illegally.
illegally. Yeah, I know lots of Russian migrants do that.
Let's go back to the news, so-called news, and also interesting situation about um, American national security held a meeting with Dmitry Kuleba from Ukraine first. Then they were saying about those 15 congressmen who wrote a letter to Biden with a proposal to help Ukraine with weapons and intelligence data, as well as send a U.S. army to Black Sea region to contain the Russian invasion. And those ships are entering Black Sea at the same time, and a bunch of things being ignited in Ukraine, which were, all these drones are bombing this front line of Donbass militia. When asked by reporters about what poses a big threat to climate change, uh, what poses a bigger threat, climate change or China, Pentagon spokesman John Kirby called it both important. Also, interesting situation in China right now where Xi Jinping is gonna be going for a third term. He is like having a problem in re-election, and right now he's being supported and being called equal to Mao Zedong and uh, Jiang Zemin. So these are great Chinese leaders. If you haven't heard about them, they're just. So right now, this new president of China, Xi Jinping, is being said as equal. So they're planning something big time, probably return of Taiwan, because calling him the great, how did they call him? The great something is just for no reason. Nobody would call him this way. Just they're thinking of him to taking Taiwan back. It's let's see.
Do you think that Chinese, just ordinary Chinese people, need Taiwan back?
Yeah, they're dreaming of it. It's a national idea to take Taiwan back. And this is
Why?
Polish border. Some migrants managed to break through actually, and all the Polish border patrol could have done is, assign them in certain direction with these fences. But actually, they were successful. Look, the situation on in other place, everything is chaotic. I would say looks like a ancient war where all these Roman troops are fighting against barbarians. All these vehicles and troops, like 13,000 extra troops, were brought to the border of Poland from the Polish side. Highly equipped personnel with military ammunition ready to go. And look at this Stone Age camp here. Very interesting picture. This is a CDC from USA. Um, his name is oh, actually forgot his name. Fauci, Dr. Fauci,
Yeah.
and Bill Gates here. Don't worry, we'll get you vaccination. Uh, Also, this is interesting how they do this revaccination without any syringe, actually faking it. This is a president of Egypt who said he was doing his third booster shot, but actually was doing air shot, pneumatic booster. This is Iran situation. They flew over around U.S. aircraft carrier in the Persian Gulf. Also, very intensified situation there. Could be a open military fire each day because Iranians uh, are not that simple. Also, very fightful men, very aggressive, and not letting anyone intrude in their zone of interest. This is night footage from the same border. As you can see, what migrants are doing, actually flashing the lights and laser beams into the eyes of Polish border patrol to distract them. And some groups are trying to hop over this fence somewhere nearby. And they even ramping this with trucks and probably using Belarusian trucks to roll over those fences. This is new tactics, new hybrid war tactics. Relations between Russia and the West are experiencing unprecedented tension. A war between the West and Russia could break out by accident. The crisis on the Polish Belarusian border threatens to aggravate. This was said by the Chief of General Staff of the British Armed Forces. So, this is it for today, guys. I think we discussed all the news and all the information. What is gonna come up soon, we're gonna see. But all these points of interest, I broke them down in front of your eyes, as you can see: Poland, Ukraine, Turkey, Syria, North Korea, Taiwan, Iran, in Persian Gulf, perhaps, and the Mexican-U.S. border, as always. We're lucky it doesn't include Moscow or Kaliningrad. We are coming to this period when it could come anywhere, can be ignited. I hope nothing of what not anything, nothing from what I said just will gonna be happening. But
I think it's
no,
already ignited, actually, because um, you're trying to say that the war can start anywhere on Earth, but it's going on right now, and the
it never
process
stopped. Never stops. Yeah.
never stopped, and the destruction and distraction process has begun, because I think the Great Reset would involve the change in the monetary system.
Yeah, that's what they're planning to do. Exactly.
So this war simultaneously in different places, it's like a one more black swan in this situation.
Yeah, exactly. This cryptocurrencies situation might also be ignited, as I've been saying in several videos. A bunch of people predicting huge raise of trend in cryptocurrencies and raise of price, but due to inflation, it will be more rapid this time. So it could come up to $100,000 per one Bitcoin, but could drop immediately after that to certain levels where people will lose money. So be very careful with those cryptocurrencies and protect yourself all the time. Invest in real knowledge, in real skills, in or real gold, at least something real that you can actually exchange for bread, for example, or water. Nobody's gonna take your cryptocurrency in some food shortage crisis, which can happen anywhere, anytime right now. We know it. We know it. It can happen anywhere. Supply chain can be cut and everything else will be chaotic, as it was a bunch of times before, last year and prior to that. We've experienced that actually in USSR. After the USSR being reset, all the shops were empty. Nothing could be bought for several years. Deficit was everywhere. And as long as reset was set to be started, they said, okay, let's be shock economics there. So the shock economics is what we've been experiencing since last year. It's total change of all the rules. Everything's gonna be reassembled, reassigned. It's not just the turning off and on, it's resetting shit. Thanks a lot for following,
All right.
guys.
Thank you.
Stay cool and stay healthy. Hope you guys liked it, share and like it too, because the channel doesn't get more views than it's supposed to. It's a new one, so let's hope for better. See you later. Bye.
Bye bye.